recharging in nature, I mean, it's not a new thing. It's been around for, well, probably thousands of years. I know the Japanese have a word for it, which I think is shinin or shirin yoko, which basically roughly translates as forest bathing. Our Scandinavians cousins also have a word, which is fruity sliv, which I believe translates, it comes from three words, and the three words then being free, live, and air. And again, this is an expression of being outside, of taking the benefits of disconnecting from our modern world and just spending time in nature. And it's part of their kind of cultural identity. So I love that. I love how certain traditions have a certain respect and understanding of nature that we don't have. And so many people just view nature as something like, yeah, it's dirty and horrible. But to me, it's like home. It's like coming home, being out here. And something that I came across a couple of years ago is that the NHS Highlands, I believe it is, were actually prescribing nature to people who had depression and anxiety and other type issues. Just encourage people to go outside. So it's actually prescribed by a doctor to go outside and spend time in nature. And what's interesting is more and more the science now is evolving to show us how spending time out here, from getting your hands dirty in the mud to just sitting under canopy of trees or leaves for sort of 20-30 minutes, is medically good for you. So, you know, why wouldn't you be out here? It just doesn't make sense. It's just brilliant. It is. I do consider it home. It's brilliant. I love it. I think the problem that we have in our society is that we're just connected to everything all the time, you know, through our phones and, you know, emails, WhatsApp, texts, social media. We're just always connected. We're the most connected globally that we've ever been, but I think that we're the most disconnected personally with ourselves that we've ever been. At least that's how I found it anyway. I found as I've become more and more connected, joined up with social media, with technology, that I became more disconnected with who I was.
Your service has been temporarily disconnected.
And now having that separation, having that realization, and being able to spend time outdoors in nature without technology is actually really good for me. I'm not going to go into detail, but it's changed my life dramatically for the better, much for the better. So how does camping and spending time in nature actually help us? Well, what does it do? And what have the studies from around the world told us that probably intuitively lots of people already knew, especially those people who were more nomadic and lived outdoor lives? So what's the science now telling us that most people, not most people, but a lot of people already knew? Well, things we do know is that being outside in nature actually boosts our immune system. So things called phytozymes is something that we get from the trees. So the trees secrete it. I don't understand the chemistry or the biology behind it, but I think it is a word called phytozymes. So we get exposed to these when we're out in these wooded areas, and it's good for us. It actually helps cure us. It's been shown that it helps to prevent certain diseases or to help cure us of certain diseases. And I'm not a chemist, I'm not a scientist, I don't understand any of this, so I can't validate it scientifically. But the science is showing us that this is true, that being out here is actually good for us, that we get an increase in serotonin, which is one of our feel-good chemicals. So being out here, our brain just gives us or produces more of these feel-good chemicals in our brain. So it reduces depression, anxiety. It's also been shown to help children with ADHD and ASD, for they are calmer and more relaxed in these environments. And again, I said, I'm not a scientist. I can't give you any testimony to say that this is true because I'm not experienced it. All I'm talking about really is from my own experience and from what I've read and what I've listened to from other people. And that's all I have to share. But my own testimony on this, the way I feel is really, really powerful about this. I feel so transformed being out here. I love it. Love it. Don't like the rain so much, which we have an awful lot of this year, but I love being out here in nature. It's brilliant. I don't know if any of you guys have actually slept outside in the woods or spend a lot of time out in the woods, but something else that comes back is that you get improved sleep out here. And I know, and again, I can talk about this from my own experiences when I have been out camping, or when I do come out camping in the woods. Once you get over your initial hesitations and fears of being out somewhere new and if there's other people around you and all those stupid thoughts and fears that we get, that we actually have improved sleep, that we calm down, we feel more relaxed. And it's just from being out here in nature. It's just brilliant. You know, if it's there and it's good for you, why don't you use it? I don't understand. I don't understand if you don't use it, that is. Like recharging in nature. So I can't prove or validate any of the science. You know, all I can give you is my own testimony for how being out here makes me feel, how it's helped my own mental health, physical health, mental well-being, etc. over the past few years. You know, it's one of the things when I remember when I first went to the doctor, when I felt how I described it as broken. I was here physically, but mentally I was just in chaos. And yeah, he said, the doctor reckoned that I was extremely stressed and burnt out, like chronic stress, this kind of stuff. And through counselling, through conversations, it was a case of, you know, where did I find the most joy? And it had always been being outside in nature. And what started off then is just walks in nature, just around the Giant's Causeway, and then what became my favourite area, which has been Evernor, to camping and bushcraft and everything else. The transformation in me is amazing. And it's not the case that you come out once and you're suddenly changed, because that's certainly not true. It's the repetition of being out here and slowing down and taking notice of what's actually around you is where the transformation occurs. And something that was told to me this week is that I went back to one of the charities that helped me this week and actually did a talk on bushcraft. So I actually did a demonstration of fire lighting, just what bushcraft means to me and being outside in nature means to me. So much like this conversation today. And Peter, the manager up there, turned around to me and goes, it's like, I'm a new person. I'm a completely different person in that when I came in, and I didn't realise this at the time, that this isn't that long ago, but I've been very, very guarded, very defensive, kind of looking for a fight, but not necessarily looking for a fight. I think I'm more pacifist than an aggressor, but that's kind of the persona I gave over. And it's like the difference in me now, it's just like, I'm not at all like that. I'm so much more just relaxed, connected. I take a moment before I do anything. So I don't let my emotions control me. I recognize when my emotions are kicking in and just to take a moment to go, okay, what's happening here? And why am I feeling this way? And then instead of reacting to it, I can do something different. So yeah, being out here in nature and all these different things, and it's transforming. It's been brilliant. Love it. So that is definitely your call to action, to get your ass outside. And you don't have to go and get a hammock or flip and go wild camping, nothing like that, but just spend some time in nature. Just go and sit, get a sit mat, or to go and sit somewhere by a river, in the trees, in nature, and just see what you see. Not with a phone or anything else, but just sit. Give yourself 20, 30 minutes, just sitting and just enjoy the peace, the noise of the trees, the noise of the wind in the trees, the sound of the birds, the wildlife around you, the feel of the leaves and the sticks and everything under your feet. All these things, it's like a sensory overload, but we're so disconnected to it because we're just stuck in these phones all the time. So yeah, it's a sensory, it's amazing. Look, I'm gonna stop because I just love this stuff, and if you can't tell, well then there's something wrong with you. I just love it. Get yourself outside, do yourself a favour, do it for a month, and just see what difference it makes to you. There's enough science out there to validate what I've said. You can go and Google it, research it, read it, do whatever you want. But plain and simply, just get out here and just enjoy your time in nature. Thanks.